All right. Good morning, beautiful people. As I mentioned, like I said, today's topic is going to be 7 principles to manifesting whatever it is that you want, right? As long as we are following these or we're applying these to our daily routines or applying this to our practice, like I said, with consistency and discipline, we are going to be able to have these things show up in the physical, everything that we want, all of the goals and desires and the dreams and the materialistic or whatever, just anything that you set your mind to, anything that you're striving for right now in life, you're literally going to be able to have it come to you in the future. You're going to have it show itself because you're working and you're watering these seeds. And like I said, the universe is all moving off of frequencies, right? So once you're vibrating at a higher frequency, once you're vibrating at that frequency that's going to help these things come into the physical, at some point it's going to show. Once, like I said, you have to be consistent with it though. But let's get into it. We have 7 steps. The first one is decision. You have to make a decision, right? First of all, let's get some ones in the chat if you guys are ready for these gems. We got our pens and papers ready to take some notes, or however it is y'all are taking your notes, but let me know that you guys are actually ready to receive this information. We need to make sure that our hands are open, our minds are open, our hearts are open to receiving these things so that we can, like I said, internalize it and make use of it, make the best use of it, all right? I got 13 people on the call, only 3 ones. If you are ready to receive this information, drop a 1 in the chat. I need to know who's with me, who's locked in, who's ready to hear all of this. I know some of y'all may be driving, maybe on the road, but I just need to know who's with me right now. Okay, y'all quiet today. Okay. I'll roll with it. Cool, I'll roll with it. All right. So like I said, number 1 is going to be your decision. You have to set the direction of what you want and where you want to go. And you need to know this so that you're able to move effectively through your space or through your journey as you're rolling through, as you're moving through, right? If you haven't decided what it is that you want, or if you haven't decided that you're going to make something happen for you, you're not gonna have much direction when it comes to moving towards that goal. It's like you're aiming somewhere where there's no target. You're just kind of just aiming and shooting without having any sense of direction or having any sense of okay, this is where I want to hit, this is what I want to hit, this is what I want to do. So you need to understand what it is that you want, whether it's, like I said, materialistic, or whether it's just something a skill that you want to master, or maybe you have some personal goals and ideas that you want to get done, but you have to decide. You have to make that decision to say, you know what, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to, put my effort towards getting there, right? If you don't do it, you'll always be stuck. If you don't make that decision of what you want or how you're going to get it done, you will always end up being stuck because, again, like I said, you have no direction. You have no sense of where you're going, what you want to do. And then that in turn is going to have you stagnant, quote unquote. And that in turn, you're going to feel like you're not getting much done. You're not progressing in your process, right? How many times, like, I'll be completely transparent about it. For a while, I didn't have a solid decision on or a solid idea of what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be in the future. Oh, Tia, I appreciate you so much. I didn't have a solid decision or a definite decision of what it is I wanted to do, or where I wanted to take myself in a certain space. And because of that held me back. Because now I'm moving here and then I'm moving there and then I'm moving everywhere without knowing, okay, if I'm supposed to be moving towards this goal, this is how I need to take these steps. But without knowing that, you may be taking steps in directions that may not be serving you. So you really need to know, what it is that you want to go after. All right. Number two, you have to write it down. You have to write it down, right? Once you write things down, not only have you put that idea on paper where you can actually visualize it, but it literally becomes like a receipt, right? It becomes a receipt, when you all go to the store and you have the receipts, like proof of purchase, right? You writing it down is literally going to be that, hey, this is what I said I want. I'm going to write it down and make sure it happens. It's like, and when it does happen, you're going to have that proof of, hey, I wrote this down and look, and now it's here in the future. This is my receipt. This is my receipt to say I did that, or I accomplished that, right? Your chances of accomplishing your goals that you don't write down is about 25%. So if you're not writing down the goals, if you're just talking about, I mean, talking about it is good, yes, but if you're not actually writing them down and putting them putting them to the paper where now you can see it and you can feel it, right? This is actually a note from Neno. He basically says he uses the five senses when it comes to his goals, right? But once you write it down, you move that 25% chance of it happening to now about 85%, right? And what he says is he writes his goals down twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, right? And then he uses his five senses to really put that intention and put that emotion behind it. So seeing it, hearing it, tasting it, feeling it, and I'm missing one. Smell. There we go. Smelling it, right? So how do you smell your goals? Well, it depends. It depends on what your goals are, right? So let's just say if we're talking within the space that we're in terms of, hitting 6 and 7 figures, right? How do you smell it? Maybe it's a more expensive perfume or cologne that you want, that you can't really afford, or may not really be in your budget. You want to smell it. You want to smell the difference between, okay, something that's a little bit more high class, a little bit more pricey, versus something that you can get from like the dollar store. You know what I mean? How do you taste it? What food are you eating versus, like, so, okay, are you eating like McDonald's and Burger King, or are you going to, like, fine dine restaurants, the Keg, Red Lobster, or whatever the case is, right? Now you're going to be able to taste the difference in the type of food that you're eating. Maybe it's a different type of a champagne or just liquor in general, right? You're going to taste the difference between like the real quality stuff and then like the cheaper knockoff versions, or things of quote unquote lower, lesser value, right? Touching it, like, okay, cool, if you're looking at getting a new car or something, have you test driven the car? Have you gone out to actually visualizing it, seeing it? Have you gone to see what type of car that you want, right? Are you actually putting yourself into that environment where you're able to feel yourself, okay, you know what, this is what I want. I just want to make sure that this is the way I want to feel in it. How do I want to, okay, picture myself sitting in my dream car, rolling it around, things like that, right? Last night, actually, had a conversation with my girl Eb, and we spoke about we were speaking about cars, and she had mentioned that she had the car that I have on her vision board. So I said to her, hey, you want to drive it? Roll around the parking lot a little bit. Put yourself in the driver's seat, right? Feel what it feels like to be driving the car. Feel what it feels like to pull off and sit in the seat and just whatever, park, all that stuff. Like, feel it out. I want you to experience it so that when it comes to you, you already know, you already have that experience, you have that thought. And now that she got a chance to do it, now she's going to have that memory in her head, and she's going to be able to visualize it and play it over and over and over in her head again, right? Because once you have something in your mind, once you can see it in your mind, you're able to actually feel it in the physical. You're able to have it in your hands in the physical. So I let her take a test drive, right? But yes, you definitely want to have that emotional intent behind it so that, you can really put that energy out into the universe, right? It's one thing to say it, but if you don't have the intent and the emotional attachment behind it, it's not gonna manifest the way you want it to. That actually goes back to a couple weeks back. Mel did a Mondays with Mel, and she was talking about I believe it was manifestation and putting the intent behind the words of what you speak. And it's just like, she was saying, like, you can just say it, I'm going to be a chairwoman, I'm going to be a chairwoman, I'm going to be a chairwoman. But there's no real emotion behind that, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be a chairwoman. It's like, I'm definitely going to be a chairwoman. Don't play with me. You see what I'm saying? Like, you really have to have that emotional attachment, or that intent behind the words that you speak, so that you can really push that out into the universe. All right. So number 2 is writing it down. Okay. Drop a 2 in the chat if you guys are still with me. Drop a 2 in the chat if you guys got number 1, decision, and number 2, we're going to write it down. I just need to know who's with me still. And then we're going to keep it pushing. Cool. All right. Number 3. And this is something, and this is why I always speak on awareness of your thoughts, right? But you become what you think about the most, right? And this definitely ties into controlling your thought process and understanding what your dominating thoughts are. And if you have these dominating thoughts that don't serve you, they actually tend to be a distraction to your goals, right? So if your thoughts don't give you power to your goals, like I said, they become a distraction. You have to be aware of your thoughts, because they must give you power. They have to give you power towards your goals, right? Be more intense with your thought process, especially when it comes to your goals and the things that you want. You have to be more intense with the way that you're thinking about them, the way that you're visualizing and seeing, and just your energy around it, right? Because once you put that intention behind it, it builds that feeling and that emotion, which then builds that burning desire in your heart for you to actually acquire that goal, right? So number 3, you will become what you think about. Be aware of your dominating thoughts. Be aware of your thought process during the day. If you find that you are thinking about things that are not serving you, that are not giving you power towards your goals, flip the script. Change the way you're thinking about it. Start to process your information in a different way so that it can actually become beneficial for you, and then you can continue to progress forward towards your goals. All right. So that's number 3. Become what you think. Number 4. Your intention, like I mentioned, and your purpose behind it all, right? Your day-to-days have to match what you want. So if you're sitting here saying, I want to be a 6 and 7 figure earner, I want to be a 6 and 7 figure earner, but you have a 4-figure earner attitude or characteristics or work ethic, it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to be able to gain that. You're not going to be able to gain that level of awareness, or you're not going to be able to gain that level of work ethic where now you're able to attract that type of money. You have to adjust yourself to your goals. The things that you do have to align with what you want, right? So if you want to be a musician, I know I have a couple artists on this call. If you want to be a musician and artist, right, you have to put that work into your music. You have to put the time and the energy into, writing down your songs and going to the studio and recording it and dropping the songs and everything like that. If you're not doing that effectively, you're not going to be able to have that success that you want. You're not going to actually, not to say you can't do it, but it's going to be a slower process. It's going to be a longer process because your actions aren't matching up with the things that you want. Right? You want to drop songs, but you're not writing your music. You're not practicing. You're not in the studio. You're not. You have to match that energy with the things that you want, so that they can again have that intent behind it for them to really create itself in the physical, and then everything that you want is going to end up coming to you, right? 7-figure intention behind every single activity you do. So how you do anything is how you do everything. Right? From as simple as your morning routine to, you brushing your teeth or showering or meditating or whatever the case is, that's going to also translate into how you run your business, how you move throughout your life, how you move within your goals, right? So you have to make sure that you are, doing everything the same way so you can have that same system. And I think later on next week, we're going to talk about systems, but you have to have that system where it's just a constant thing. Regardless of what it is that you do, you have the same system in place. You know how to approach the goals, the situation, how to find your solutions, figure out the problems, execute, all of that stuff, right? So once you have those systems in place, you're going to be able to do everything as such. But again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're lacking in one area of your life, understand that you have the potential to lack in other areas of your life as well. So if you see it and you can pinpoint it, fix it. Fix it and make sure that you begin to change it. And guys, it's not easy. I'm not telling you that's going to happen overnight, but you have to be consistent. You have to make that effort consciously so that you can have it become an unconscious thing or subconscious thing, right? Where now you're running on autopilot, where it's just something you naturally do, right? That goes back into our paradigms and the things that we're used to doing, our habitual behaviors, right? Those are things that we continue to do, where now it's just a subconscious effort, subconscious action, right? Where that's what we want to do in this space. I would say 21 days to build a habit, 90 days to build a lifestyle, right? So it's the same thing, but you have to be consistent during those 21 days and then during those 90 days so that you can have that discipline and then it becomes part of you, right? But yes, number 4, your intention and your purpose behind it all right? Number 5, Number 5, you need to act as if, right? Act as if the goal is already done. Act as if you're where you want to be. Act as if everything that you want to have is already yours. Act as if you are that future you that you want to see. And think about it, once you begin to act as if, it'll actually end up showing up. It has to catch up to you. But again, this is not something that you can do today and then not do tomorrow and then try it again next week and then fall off by the end of next week. And then, no, you have to be consistent and disciplined with your efforts, right? But once you continue to actually show up for yourself and put in that effort and start to carry yourself as that 6-7 figure earner, speak as that 6 and 7 figure earner, have that body language as such, you start to hang out with 6 and 7 figure earners, or at least start to bring yourself closer to that type of information, or leverage the people in certain spaces so that you can actually become it and you can embody those things, right? But you need to act as if it's already done. You need to act as if you're already there, because that's going to be the quickest way for it to actually show up in the physical, right? Move as if it's already yours. Carry yourself like it's done. Your belief is all that matters. It doesn't matter if nobody else sees it. As long as you see it and you believe it, it will happen, right? At the end of the day, you might want to sit there and impress people and do this and do that, but guys, people don't care. Really and truly. People don't care about what it is that you're doing until you actually get it done, until they actually see what it is that you're doing, until you actually start to manifest these things in the physical. And that's when they're going to say, hey, I always believed in you. Hey, I knew you could do it. I knew you were going to do it. But until you do it, nobody cares, right? You're going to get that support. You're going to get that, hey, keep it up. But no one's going to check on you every single day to make sure that you're doing it. So you have to make sure for yourself that you have that faith. You have to make sure for yourself that you're the one that's getting it done, right? Behind closed doors, especially. Is it just a front for the camera, or are you actually embodying these characteristics that you may be preaching about or you may be talking about, right? How do you speak to other people? How do you present yourself to other people? How do you walk around in public? How do you move? How do you just, y'all get what I'm saying, right? Once you manifest it, everyone becomes a believer. So you need it the most at the end of the day. Worry about you first. Act as if, all right? That's number 5. Number 6 is your daily routine. And that ties into, so we have the savers, we have our morning routines where waking up. Saver stands for silence, A is affirmation, V is visualization, E is exercise, R is reading, and S is scribing, right? So we go through our morning routines where we're now waking up and putting ourselves in a great mood, in a great position to actually go through and effectively tackle our day, effectively move through our day and be productive and be the best version of us and get the most work done, right? But once you start your day off on a lower vibration, or once you don't get that meditation in, or once you don't have that time to really get your mind right, that's going to translate out through your day. I personally noticed it, like when I wake up and that first 15 to half hour, that first 15 minutes to 16 minutes, the 60 minutes of my day, I make sure that I'm listening to something motivational. I make sure that I'm filling my headspace, or I'm tapping into something that's going to get me thinking, that's going to get me moving, that's going to put me in a space where it's like, okay, you know what, I have things to do. I got stuff to take care of, and I'm going to make sure that I do the best that I can today. Right? Once I noticed, I started to do that, and I started to have a more productive day when I did it. And then the days that I didn't do it, I realized I'm starting to lag through my day. I'm starting to I'm sleepy through my day, or I'm not really tackling the things that I need to through my day. That's when I'm like, okay, no, my morning routine is essential. How you start off your day is literally going to set the tone for the rest of your day, right? So moving through your morning routine, and then again, writing down your goals as part of your daily routine. Right? Nana writes them down twice a day. I would say at the very least once a day. Whether it's your goals for the day, whether it's your goals for the week, the month, the year, write down your goals. Right? If you have a journal, start journaling. Journal all the ideas that you have in your head, in your mindset, in your headspace. All the things that you want to get done, all the creative things that pop into your head. Doesn't matter what it is, write it down. Write it down, put it on paper, because now that's your receipt. Now you have that extra possibility of actually getting it done. You've moved that 25% chance of not writing it, of it happening, from not writing it down to now 85% because you decided to write it down. So write down as much as you can. Put it on paper so that you can visualize your thoughts. You could also, better organize your thoughts. Sometimes we have so many thoughts running through our head. We have thousands, about 70,000+ thoughts running through our head a day, with about 3,000 to 5,000 of those thoughts being conscious thoughts. And even those 3,000 to 5,000 thoughts, we don't even remember them all. So once you have a thought, and once you have something that comes up, you want to write it down, right? And then just, being aware of how you're thinking, how you're moving, and just catching yourself when you start to have those dominating negative thoughts or whatever the case is throughout your day. That's going to help a lot, right? But your daily routine, you have to know what you're doing throughout your day. And it's best to figure your day out from the night before for the next day. And if you don't do it the night before, wake up early. And as soon as you finish your morning routine, write down your day, write down your schedule for the day, right? Understand what it is that you need to get done for the day so that you can visually see it, and then you can better tackle your goals, right? What you're putting, it's what you're putting in place. Sorry, what are you putting in place daily to become what you think about? And you have to start now, right? Everything must be aligned with your desires, okay? So like I said, you have to, going back to acting as if, you need to start to put yourself in that position. You need to start to, lay it out. Hey, this is what I want to do today, and this is how I'm going to act, and these are what's going to align with the goals and the desires that I truly want, right? And everything must be aligned. If it's not aligned, it's a distraction. If it's not giving energy towards your goals, it's a distraction. Just be aware of your thought process while you're doing all of these things, okay? And then number 7, whatever it takes mindset. That is a big one. And I think this one definitely does not come easy, because I know me, myself, I'm still working on that whatever it takes mindset, right? This is where a lot of sacrifices have to come into play. This is where you have to give up a lot of things that you normally do, or, pleasures and temptations or whatever the case is, right? For you to really see the success that you want. You gotta dive deep and swim with the sharks. You gotta make sure that you're putting it all on the line, right? And I'm not saying literally put it all on the line, but put it on the line. If you know that these are the things that you want, if you know that this is the goal and this is the desire and this is the life that you want to live, you got to do whatever it takes to make it happen. You want to retire your parents, you got to do whatever it takes to make it happen. You want to make sure your kids are straight, your kids are straight. You got to do whatever it takes to make sure that you can build that generational wealth, right? This is a generation where we're breaking the curses. This is a generation where we're breaking old habits and old paradigms from our ancestors, right? So understand that it's going to come with challenges. It's going to come with trials. It's going to come with things that are going to test you to see if you're really built for it. You're going against the grain. You're traveling the road less traveled. But you have to understand that you have to have that muscle. You have to have that durability, especially if you want to be swimming with the sharks, especially if you want to be going after these things that don't happen to average people. The average people don't acquire these things. The average people don't accomplish these types of goals. So if you're going after things like that, you have to be ready for it. You have to have the muscle. You have to build yourself up to it, right? Doesn't matter what you face, right? You got to put everything aside. Like I said, dive deep, swim with the sharks. Help your family, whether it's helping your family or impacting the world, whatever the case is. You want to build some centers to help children, whatever you got to do. Make sure that all your actions are aligning with it so that you can get it done. And don't fall off. It's going to get hard. Times are going to get rough. Things are going to test you, right? The universe is going to see if you're really built for it, if you're really meant for this type of journey, if you're really meant to travel down this road, right? At the end of the day, all great things are on the other side of fear. Troubled water. Yo, listen. Like a bridge over troubled waters. Y'all know that song, you know. Good gospel. But literally, until it happens, there's no quitting. Don't stop. Give it time. Be patient. Right? Understand that it's you, though. You have to be the one to muscle through, and it's always you. And anything that we speak about, any gems and tips and skill sets and ideas, and you know the track, you know the track, right? It's you. It starts with you. So you have to understand. You have to be the one to tough it out. You have to be the one to fight the battles. You can have people along the way to help you and have your back and stuff, but at the end of the day, you are the only one that's going to be able to answer your own questions. You're the only one that's going to be able to beat your own battles. Nobody else can do it for you. So if you truly know that you've made the decision to get this and to get that and to do this and to do that, don't give up halfway through just because it gets hard. That's the test. That's the test to see if you're truly meant for it. And if you're not meant for it, you're going to quit. Or if you feel like you can't do it or what, you're going to quit. Don't give up on yourself. Because once you give up on yourself, you give up on the people around you that believe in you. And a lot of people are looking up to you. A lot of people are counting on you. A lot of people want you to do it just so that they can know they can do it. Right? The average person only lives up to I think 10% of their potential. The average person only lives to fulfill 10% of their potential. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be average or do you want to be extraordinary? All right? How much of your potential do you want to fulfill? How much of your purpose do you want to fulfill? How much do you want to align yourself with your purpose so that you can truly be you? Because until you align yourself and figure out what your purpose is, and again, that doesn't happen overnight, but until you're able to figure that out and align yourself with such habits, you're not going to truly be you. Right? But like I said, you're gonna face challenges. You're gonna face the wars. You're gonna go through the storms. You're gonna hit the upsets. You're gonna hit rock bottom on the way. Right? But understand that there is a beautiful other side to this. The law of polarity, right? There's a good and the bad. There's a negative and a positive. So if you want to quit while you're in the negative side instead of waiting until you reach the positive, then that's up to you. That just means you're not strong enough for it. That means you're not built for it. Right? But if you're built for it, if you're built for it and you're meant for it, you're gonna tough it out. You're gonna stay down. You're not gonna run when things get hard. Right? Take time to figure you out. Take time to understand, okay, how am I going to get through this problem this time? How am I going to understand how to progress through this one? We talked about the 5 steps to success, right? You figure out your goal. You have the problems that you're facing currently. And you got to identify the problems. Why are the problems there in the first place? And you got to find your solution, right? Find the solution to fixing the problem. Write out your game plan. And you got to execute the game plan so that you can actually get through it. Right? Then you're going to start to move more effectively through your challenges. It's just another way of learning. It's another way of growing. It's another way of teaching yourself how you need to be, how you need to act, how you need to maneuver within your space. Right? That whatever it takes mentality is really, that's really when you start to see the most success. That's really when you start to have the most breakthroughs. That's really when you start to make sense of things, and then your goals just seem to just be right there and just be right there, and then there's another one, and we're approaching another one, because you're doing anything to get there. Nothing's going to stop you because you got people that are counting on you. You got your siblings, you got your parents, you got your kids, you got your friends, you got your community. You have you need this more than you need to give it to somebody else, because that's the first thing. Right? So don't give up on you, especially when you have other people riding on you. So that's number 7, the whatever it takes mindset. And that's all, right? Let's run through it again. Number 1, decision. You set a direction of what you want and how you're going to get it. Number 2, you got to write it down, visualize it, make sure that you put it on paper, right? You increase your chances of getting it done from 25 to 85%, right? Number 3, you become what you think about the most. So be aware of your thoughts, be aware of your dominating thoughts, and anything that is not serving or giving you power towards your goals, cut it. Put it to a minimum. It's a distraction, right? Number 4, the intention and purpose behind your thoughts, behind your actions, behind the way you move. That is really going to help push you as well, right? If you're not putting that emotion behind it, it's pointless. It doesn't have the same effect. The universe is not going to respond to it the same way. Number 5, you need to act as if. Again, being intentional with everything that you do. Acquire those characteristics and bring them here to the physical. Figure out what characteristics you want to have as your future self, and start to act as such now. Act as if you're a 6-7 figure earner. It doesn't matter if you got a negative balance in your account. It really don't. Right? Act as if, and eventually it'll change. So to carry yourself as such, speak as such, talk as such, right? Number 6, your daily routine. The way you wake up is going to set the tone for your day. What you do throughout your day is literally going to help set the tone for your goals, right? Are you writing them down? Are you acting as such? Are you being aware of your thought process? Are you being aware of your actions? And number 7, are you doing whatever it takes? You have that whatever it takes mindset, right? You going to let somebody stop you and hold you back from your blessings, or are you going to go after it because you need it? Don't allow other people's opinions to become your lifestyle, because the moment you adapt somebody else's opinion, you adapt their lifestyle. Think for yourself. Be self-sufficient. Do it for you. Understand what you need to get done. Understand who you need to be, and understand that ain't nothing's going to stop you from your goals, from what you want, from the things that you desire. Nothing. All right, family? How y'all feeling? Drop it in the chat. Let me know if y'all are still with me. Y'all caught the gems. 7 principles to manifesting whatever it is that you want. I'm loving it. Empowered, marvelous. That's great. That's all it is. That's all I'm here to do, guys. I'm just here to share what I've learned, share what I know. Beautiful, educational. Got some gems. I love y'all for real. Share what I've known, share what I come across, so that I can better help you, especially knowing that it's helped me in some sort of way, especially knowing that I've been able to benefit from it. I just want to help y'all from my experiences. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm perfect, but I want you guys to understand that I am making those efforts every day to become better, to bring myself to a higher vibration, to become the better version of myself, to acquire that future self here today in the physical. And these are just some of the things that are going to help us get there. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all, my kings and queens. Vibrate high today. Be the best versions of you. And y'all have an amazing, safe, and blessed day. I'm going to see y'all on the flip side.